Okay, so welcome to Mi-Soul at Southport 50, and we have a legend here, Mr. Archie Bell, and it's particularly apt that Archie's at the 50th Southport. I don't know if you know, Don't Let Love Get You Down is probably one of the biggest tracks throughout the whole history of Soul Weekenders.
Well, I found out about that the first time I came. I came to UK back in November at the Indigo 2, you know, and I was really amazed when I started doing that number. It's like, you know, I can hardly hear the band. The people were shouting so loud. It's really...
That record had to got reissued. It was so popular.
Yeah, I think Phil International just sold the catalog to Sony, so they just went nationwide with it. But they told me that it was a sleepover here. Some guy turned the record over here, and he got really big overnight.
It was it released 78, and then 86 it was reissued,
right?
And it's reissued lots of times since.
I didn't know that. You know, I really didn't know.
It's a massive anthem. So to have you here at the 50th anniversary is just perfect.
Right.
But something you said on stage I thought was really interesting. You said in America it's about your next record.
Yeah.
But in the UK,
that's right. They remember your track record.
Exactly.
The songs that I did back, well, Here I Go Again, My Balloon's Going Up. They still remember those songs here, but in the United States, it never gets little play.
So that's what I wanted to talk to you about, your track records.
Right.
Because it all began with Tighten Up.
Right.
Is that right?
Right.
With the TSU Tornadoes.
The TSU Tornadoes.
Tornadoes.
Like the car, the Tornado.
Because I understand you made that record to make a statement about Texas. Is that right?
Well, when we did Tighten Up, a friend of mine was, you know, we was rooming together, and we used Tighten Up like a slang word. You know, we would say, "Tighten up, fella, I'll check you later," or either when we rehearsal, we would say, "It's time to tighten up." But I had just got a greetings from Uncle Sam. I knew the military was going to drive me into the army, and we was in the studio recording the song at the time. And I think I was at one of the most depressed time in my life. You know, I was really down and depressed about it. And I was laying on the couch, and my roommate Billy Butler came in the door, and the radio was on. He started doing a little dance, and for a few minutes I forgot about my problem. I said, "What's that you doing?" He said, "I'm doing the Tighten Up." So I got the idea I said, "I'm gonna write a song called Tighten Up." But about 2 weeks before that, we was working in San Antonio, Texas, and I heard a disc jockey say that nothing good ever came from Texas because of John Kennedy's assassination. So that's when I put How Much You Better the Drells from Houston, Texas. We not only sing, but we dance as good as we want. I wanted people to know that there was something good that came from Texas, you know.
Because it was originally a B-side, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and it got flipped and signed to Atlantic.
When we sent the record to Atlantic Records, they had a song on the A-side was Dog Eat Dog, but the record company, you know how they do, they got things mixed up. I was in the military in Germany at the time, and my manager called me from Houston and told me they playing Dog Eat Dog. I said, they playing the wrong song. And about 2 weeks later, the disc jockey flipped over on the other side, 200,000 copies a week. And they took Dog Eat Dog off the record and put Tighten Up Part 2 on that, you know.
And it was a huge record.
Yeah,
Huge
yeah.
record.
Tighten Up sold 12 million the first year.
Wow.
You know, back then you sell a million copies was gold, but if you sell 500,000 a day, it's like platinum. A million copies is platinum, 500,000 is like gold.
And tell me a bit about where the name came from. I know where Archie Bell came from,
right.
But the Drells, where did that
Drells,
come from?
well, we was in high school, and a friend of mine, he was really in love with the drill. One of the Drells was in love with the drill, so he loved the Dells. So he took the D-R-E-L-L-S, added the R instead of D-E-L-L-S. And the first time we did a show, the people thought the Dells was going to be there. We came on the stage and said, "Who, that's not the Dells?" They was booing us. We did a pretty good show, and after we did the show, they said, "Y'all guys all right," but we told the people, "We're not the Dells, we're the Drells." And everything. That's how the name came along. And back then, it was not Archie Bell and the Drells, it was just the Drells. Because, you know, like when Smokey Robinson and the Miracles started, I wasn't Smokey Robinson, just the Miracles. Same thing with a lot of other groups. But by me being the front man up front with the mic, they kind of tagged my name and put, you know, the Drells in. And the first time we came to the UK, a little kid came to the backstage door with every record that I recorded. He knew where I lived, my mother, he knew my whole family. He said, "Mr. Bell, what's a Drell?" I said, "Drell is the ultimate entertainer and gentleman." He said, "I thought they were little green men from Mars." I always remember that, you know. It really cracked me up when I found out that he was, you know, he thought the Drells. And I had comic books back in Texas, you know, that they had some Drells, you know, some little Martians came from, they called them the Drells, but we had no concept of that. He just named the group because the Dells, they loved the Dells so much. And they added the R to put Drells in there. And it kind of rhymed with Bell, so that's how it got to be Archie Bell and the Drells.
So you had, after Tighten Up, you were signed to Atlantic, you had a really good time,
right.
Lots of big hits, very, very funky, raw sound. Well, Here I Go Again,
yeah. After Tighten Up, We did Tighten Up. I was home on leave and working in New Jersey, a place called Lawnside, New Jersey, at Loretta's Hyatt. Gamble and Huff came in after we did the show, and they wanted to, they said, we want to produce you. So I called my manager at the time in Houston, and he called Atlantic Records. Atlantic seemed excited about it. I didn't know who Gamble and Huff was at the time. So that's how I Can't Stop Dancing. There's going to be a showdown. My balloon's going up. Here I Go Again. All those songs came along. But we was on Atlantic label, but Gamble and Huff was our producers. And then after Atlantic Records dropped, we went down to Hialeah, Florida, with Henry Stone and KC.
Glades.
Yeah, Glades Records.
And
for a
Philip
while.
Mitchell you worked with?
Yeah, we recorded in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Philip Mitchell, a guy by the name of Brad Shapiro, and Dave Crawford. Dave Crawford was out of Jacksonville, Florida. A few years later, he passed away and everything, but we recorded that in Muscle Shoals. And when we got to Glades Records and everything, when I got there, they were supposed to have this material ready for me. I was in the studio writing music with them, so I told my road manager at the time, this is not going to work. By that time, Phil International was just getting started, so I called Kenny Gamble back and said, hey, man, we're looking for a record deal. And they said, well, come along, And that's when things really got hot for us. We got a chance to be produced by McFadden and Whitehead, Kenny Gamble, Leon Huff, McFadden and Whitehead, Phil Terry with Intruders, did a lot of, everybody, writers and producers.
One of the things I wanted to ask you, through that transition from Atlantic onto Glades, the 3 singles you did with Glades, your sound changed, because in the early days it was very sort of funky, raw, up-tempo,
right.
And then the Glades stuff was much more sweet, soul, and then obviously you had all the Philly stuff, which was very rich sound.
Yeah.
So how did that transition happen?
Well, what happened, when we recorded at Glades, we did we recorded in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and everything. And I found out later that everybody from Rolling Stones, everybody that recorded, Aretha Franklin, everybody recorded. And when we was down there recording, Aretha came in, but everybody, Wilson Pickett, everybody, Sam and Dave, everybody recorded on that, and Muscle Shoals. But Philip Mitchell, Prince Philip Mitchell was the one who wrote it, so he was a different kind of a writer. But when we went back to Atlantic Records, back to Philadelphia National, we was back in our vein. And I think they was writing some of the best material for us. I tell a lot of people when I was down in Houston and in Glades Records, I was in college, but when I got to Philadelphia, that's where I got my PhD degree in music, because it was dynamite musicians. That's something. Leon Huff could play a piano and you could hear the whole concept by itself. And when I got with them, it was a whole different concept, and they had me in mind, but when we first got there, they had about 3 artists, but later on we had OJ's, Blue Magic, Blue Rawls, Joe Simon all came, and they kind of put us on the back burner,
So you were right there at the beginning, because some of the big records during that period that are popular here,
right.
Strategy, obviously we talked about Don't Let Love Get You Down, It's Hard Not to Like You, very, very big popular record here.
Right.
So then you transitioned through Philly, and then you had a deal with Beckett with Just You.
Yeah, that's my first solo album.
And that was that had a track called Harder and Harder, which again is a very, very big record.
Yeah, but I did that. That was Dave Morris and a guy named Roger Milson when I did my first solo album and everything. That was the first solo album I did alone, but which was really great. I was kind of, I was really pleased with it. But most of the stuff I did with Phil International, but when I got with Dave Morris and on my own concept, I could kind of choose the stuff that I wanted to do. But it was really new, a different concept, and I knew when I was going solo, I had to do something a little different. But I had a great Why Did You Do Me? I Never Had It So Good. All those songs were really great. And I had 48 singles, 36 in the top 50. And so I had a great track record,
And then bringing it back to the new generation,
right.
We just had your granddaughter on stage.
Yeah, yeah. I think
so. You're leaving a legacy with your.
Yeah, I think when I get too tired, get too old to travel, I'm gonna let her take it over and everything. But I've been working with her ever since she's 2 years old. She's been working with her. But my wife and I adopted her when she was like 2 months old. So,
okay.
So she's been with us and everything. But,
she stole the show tonight.
Yeah, she always. I told her, I said, I get out there and do a good show, but when she come on, when I did the show at the Indigo 2 in November and everything, when she walked on the stage, it was like the Queen of England walked out. She walked out waving, and I said, wow. So I decided too, when I go, she always wanted to do Tighten Up, No matter what I do, she said, Papa, when you do Tighten Up, let me come on. So I've been doing that, kind of getting the ready.
Step aside.
Yeah. So take a lot of pressure off me, But it's really great. You have to pass. What I have to pass on what I know to the young generation, because if I don't do that, it'll be dead. I'm working with a lot of young people. I'm working with a young man. He's from from Stoke-on-Trent. I kind of adopted him. His name is Adam Coxey. But he's an entertainer. He's working in Manchester this weekend and everything. But I'm going to be coming back over here and very soon and produce a record on him with the Lovetown All-Stars, which is a great band.
Oh yeah, I know,
Beautiful
yeah,
band.
yeah.
And got my UK Drells and everything. But I've been working with a lot of young people. I have a daughter and some granddaughters in Texas working, but I've been trying to work along with the young people to pass on what I know. You know?
You have a musical family, don't you? 'Cause
Oh,
your
yeah,
brother's the
yeah.
singer as well, isn't he?
Yeah, my brother Lee Bell was in the group. He was one of the Drells. And my brother Ricky Bell, he was a football player. He played with USC and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And everybody, my mother had 7 boys, so everybody had to participate in church. We started early. I started singing in church when I was about 5, 6 years old and everything. But
Jerry Bell as well.
yeah, Jerry's my brother and everything. He's out there in LA, which is a great guy. And he went to Japan for 2 years and won the heavyweight karate championship. And nobody's there. The kung fu, whatever they call it.
And he's also a singer as well.
Yeah,
isn't he?
yeah. He worked with the dad's band.
Yeah.
And different people and everything. But you got to come from a musical family. All my brothers sing, but I'm the only one that my brother Lee and I was the only one that took it further. My oldest brother and all of us, we had to participate in school and church. My mother had us to do that, So we always was a musical family. My mother's father, he was my grandfather. There was 9 boys of them, and they had a little book that came from Africa. It was called the Little Book. It had notes. And it sounded, when the music sounded, it was a cappella without any music. It sounded like Lady Smith, Black Mombasa, they're from Africa. Lord save a harmony, a cappella. It's really neat. But I had a great background, and most of the people who stay out here have the longevity always start out on the church side. Aretha Franklin, everybody you can think of. If they didn't start out with like Joe Simon, a lot of other people, but Al Green went back to the church.
Okay, well, it's been a great pleasure and an honour to have Texas' greatest musical export right here in London,
Well, it's a pleasure
in
to
the
be
UK.
here. Yes, that's right.